Hey, good morning, everybody. It's Thursday morning, December 5th. Gary Lee, Zach, and Weather 2020 will be putting out their LRC winter forecast for this season and also a glimpse of what we can expect in 2024. What I like to do every year, just based on the knowledge of the LRC, my personal knowledge, I like to kind of come up with my own forecast and then compare it at the end of winter to what the LRC has proven or not proven. Just kind of a glimpse of the future. I thought I would go ahead and do a short video on my own personal winter forecast that I feel West Central Missouri will have a strong likelihood of seeing this winter. So, what you're seeing up here on the screen is, of course, we've been talking about El Nino here over the last few months. We are under an El Nino influence. Now, according to the LRC, the El Nino is obviously a driving force of weather here in the United States and globally. However, it is just a small influence of this huge atmospheric puzzle that the LRC tries to not take that chaos and actually put it into perspective. So those small influences like the El Nino, the AO, which is the Arctic oscillation, the NAO, the North American oscillation, so on and so forth. There are small influences that affect the weather pattern, but the LRC is the biggest piece of this atmospheric puzzle. But we cannot just disregard El Nino because, and again, the El Nino is the warming of Pacific waters. And right now we are in a very strong El Nino pattern right now. So during these El Nino years, what it can cause is a split flow of the upper air patterns, meaning that we pretty much have two jet streams that are going to be influences our weather. As you see here in the picture, we've got a Pacific jet stream that is going to be running across southern U.S. and then we have the polar jet stream coming out of Canada. These are the driving points of all the weather systems that come into the United States and into the Midwest and of course into West Central Missouri. So, and the reason why this has such a big influence is because obviously the Pacific Ocean is the largest body of water on Earth. So when you get this temperature 3-4 degrees warmer than on average, it can definitely play an influence and affect our weather patterns. So this is definitely something that I have considered to be a relatively strong influence this year on our weather here in West Central Missouri. As you can see, I've got the Arctic jet stream, polar jet stream, so to speak, up here in the blue line, and I've got this Pacific jet stream down here to the south. Now this is, and we're in between here. If you notice over the last 2-3 months, a lot of our storm systems have been coming off the Pacific and moving right across what they call a zonal flow, straight from the west to the east. And this is how our setups are going to be for on average pretty much all the time. Now, with that in mind, the polar jet is going to keep that colder weather up and the colder temperatures up in Canada, and of course the warmer air south of this line, and then we're kind of left here in the middle. Now it's going to take a strong storm system to come across to be able to amplify this jet stream and create a trough where it will dip down and bring us colder temperatures, an Arctic blast, so to speak. And sometimes that will lead to a ridge in the southern jet stream. And where these two meet, we're likely to see a strong storm system, in which, for instance, if we have a strong low pressure system over in Colorado that is actually going to force this jet stream down further south, amplify the southern jet stream to the north, where these two meet, we could see a significant storm. In which, in this case, if this was to happen, Kansas, Missouri, Illinois, Indiana, and parts of the South will all be in that storm system. This will happen, I do believe, a couple times this season, this winter season, in which we would get coupled with some strong inflow of moisture from the Gulf of Mexico, cold air from Canada. This could be a setup for a big snowstorm. What I think will happen more than a couple times, maybe several times this season, is with this southern Pacific jet stream riding along the coast and then shoot back up. This is going to be the pattern of most of the storms as they come into the Pacific, into the United States, and as they curl up into the northeast, it will bend that Arctic jet stream, and we're going to see significant northeastern storms right up here in parts of New York, Pennsylvania, Maine, New Hampshire, New Jersey, and we could be seeing 2 or 3 what they call big nor'easterns. That's going to be pumping a ton of moisture from the Atlantic into some wraparound cold air, providing just copious amount of moisture and snow to the northeast. I think this very easily could happen 4, 5, 6 times this winter season. So, as far as precipitation goes, I do think that because the way this pattern has been setting up with the LRC, where you see the green outline, I feel is going to be above average moisture for this winter season. Where you see the tan line, I believe, is going to be the dry area, below average precipitation. And then when you get to temperatures, I do think that we're going to be probably a little bit above average on our temperatures here in west central Missouri. Where you see the red circle is where I'm kind of guessing where the above average temperatures for the winter season is going to be, and then in the blue it's going to be below average temperatures, mainly because this area here is likely going to be very stormy throughout the winter and the spring season. Therefore, more clouds, less sun, cooler average temperatures for this area. So above average precip for west central Missouri, above average temperatures for west central Missouri. That leads me to my overall winter forecast for west central Missouri, and this is my personal. I will be comparing this to Gary's and the LRC once we get to the 5th of December when that winter forecast comes out. I feel that we're going to be warmer than average. We're going to have above average moisture, 1 to 2 big snowstorms this season, likely in January and February, and we will have an above average potential of ice because we're going to be on the battlegrounds of that warm air, cold air scenario. I feel we have an above average potential of seeing a couple storms that may have the potential to bring significant icing to west central Missouri. I still feel we're going to have a wet spring, well above average in precipitation. However, I do believe that we are going to be a below average severe storm season. Now, how did those two come together? Well, I feel like that because of our temperature contrast and where these storms are actually going to be moving across the United States in the spring, I feel like that we are going to be always being set up on the cooler side of these fronts as they move through, meaning that we are going to get plenty of moisture, but that the ingredients for a severe storm season is going to remain to our southeast this spring. So good news for the farmers. I'm hoping that as we go forward here the next couple weeks, and Weather 2020 sets up their website where we're going to be able to look ahead 2, 3, 4 months and see what our daily forecast is going to be. This is going to play a very vital role, I believe, in the ag industry. What the LRC and Weather 2020 is doing, being able to pinpoint when are going to be the wet weeks, when are going to be the dry weeks, when can we plan on getting out into the field to plant those crops. So very, very innovative, very exciting with the LRC coming up here over the next week or two that I'm very excited to share with you guys. So this is my personal winter forecast. So we'll compare it to what Gary says here next week on the LRC and their prediction for the winter for west central Missouri. So I hope you guys found this informative, and I will be posting this link on our Facebook group so that you guys can watch it. Let me know what you guys think. If you guys have any questions on what I went over, feel free to shoot me a text or jump on there, send me a personal message, and I'll be happy to kind of explain a little bit more in detail. So thanks for you guys jumping in, watching this, and I will be talking to you soon.